Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. Hopefully you can hear me. Good morning. Make sure I can be heard. I've been battling a cold, so making sure that my voice here is
I've been battling a cold,
okay.
like,
So yeah, we're on. We're live. Good morning again, everyone, and I hope everyone's having a good week. It's Wednesday. Happy Hump Day. So, September is Life Insurance Awareness Month, and we will be having conversations throughout the month, sprinkled throughout the month of September. And I did say that, yes, it is Life Insurance Awareness Month, but it will also be, kind of financial literacy because we're going to be educating on some of the concepts that people need to know as they go through their financial journey. So today, the topic is types of life insurance because most times people, have a misconception about life insurance because of what they've been told or what the limited knowledge that they have on life insurance. But today we're going to debunk a lot of that. I've tried to do it along the way. I had a whole podcast, two-part podcast on that with a panel that answered some of those questions and some of the misconceptions about life insurance. But the first thing is life insurance is not only about when you pass away and your loved ones get to benefit from it. Life insurance has so many different branches, so many different avenues, so many different uses, so many different benefits that we need to be able to use for our advantage. A lot of wealthy people have used life insurance as a wealth building tool for a long time, and why not you? Why can't you use it? What is it that we're so against when it comes to life insurance? Because the minute you mention life insurance, everybody wants to jump off Zoom, get out of the room. God forbid, I'm not going to die, or I don't want to talk about life insurance. But the one thing is that the topic we don't want to talk about is the one thing that everybody asks for when somebody passes away. If you notice that once someone passes away, the first question from the family, from friends, from those surrounding the deceased family, the first question is, did they have life insurance? But that was a topic that we didn't want to talk about in the first place, or when we bring it up in our little social groups, our alumni groups, we want to bring up that topic. It's pushed aside, or people don't want to talk about it. Oh, I have life insurance at work, and things like that. But it's a conversation. It's a hard conversation we have to have because death is inevitable. We will pass away at some point. We know our date of birth, but if I ask you, do you know your date of death? Do you know the day that God's going to call you home? And if you do, then I'll stop talking to you. I won't bother you. And then if you don't, we have to have this conversation because we're basically life insurance is transferring that risk to an insurance company that will pick up the risk. Transfer it from the family, transfer it from an individual, transfer it from a group, from a community, whatever, and transfer that risk from you to someone else who's willing to pick it up for peanuts or for pennies on a dollar. You can transfer it. All right. So now that I'm done setting the intro here, let's go into the types of life insurance. And I did promise that these conversations will be short and sweet because I don't want to keep people too long. I want to keep them short so I can keep people's attention, get to the point, and those who don't watch it live, you can still watch the video later. It will be on YouTube, and those who are on my Facebook page can still watch the recording later. So let's get into the types of life insurance. So the first type is the one that everyone knows about, group life insurance. Those who are actively working, they have benefits at work. Most of the time, your company will offer you a packet, and part of it has life insurance in it. It's usually very cheap. It sometimes it's free because the employer picks up the tab. They just pay for it, so it's really cheap. The downside of it is that sometimes, most of the time, you don't even get to see the life insurance certificate or the certificate of insurance because you don't own it. The employer owns it, so they know the details of the policy. You don't. And what is the worst thing that can happen to you when you don't know the details of your policy? There might be fine print in there that you don't know about. We've had situations in the community where someone passes away because they passed away on their way to work or somewhere, that was not work related, and the family thought that their loved one had insurance or was protected, but they ended up not being covered because they didn't die on the job, because the fine print said that, but no one knew what the fine print had. So that's group life insurance. The other downside is when you leave work or you leave that job, you leave it behind unless you can convert it to a more permanent policy, or convert it to another policy that is portable. But most of the time, once you leave the job, you leave the policy behind with all your other benefits. So that's group life insurance. I'm not saying people should not accept the group life insurance, accept it, but you always have to have yourself covered. You need to have a full care package. You need to have everything in your toolbox so that you're covered from all ends. So if there was fine print on that group policy, you still have a policy somewhere that will cover you in case of, in case of death. The second type of policy, or second type of life insurance, is term life insurance. So term is, it has a term, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 30 years. Some more improved or, more progressive companies now offer the 40-year policies. So you can actually be covered for 40 years. So the term policy, some of them are just straight term, they cover you for death and not no other additional benefits. But you have what we call term with living benefits. Term with living benefits, it acts like a financial bodyguard for you. It can be an income protection, so it can protect your income in case of a critical, chronic, or terminal illness. So then that policy gets advanced to you, so that you can take care of your bills, you can take care of your medical bills, regular bills, mortgage, whatever, while you're still alive if you're a terminal patient. And in that case, you're not waiting to, the company is not waiting for you to pass away for them to offer this to your beneficiary. They're offering it to you. So that's not only waiting for death. So in this case, the policy is not only going to cover you when you pass away. So term with living benefits, if you're not able to afford a more permanent policy, it's advisable to have at least that in place. That way, if something were to happen, you have that coverage. So it's offered. A lot of people offer it. Many companies offer it. You just have to sit down with a financial professional, a licensed life insurance agent, for them to design one for you and just look at. It's pretty simple. A term with living benefits is pretty simple to set up. Some of them don't even require medical examination. They might, some can, you can be approved instantly depending on what company that your agent uses. So that there are many options when it comes to that. The next type of life insurance is whole life insurance. So whole life, before we thought that whole life was, it wasn't, it didn't have a lot of benefits, but it depends on which company again that you go with. And as if you notice, I'm not talking about any particular company here because I am licensed, but I have access to over 30 companies. So I'm not going to talk about any particular company because it's not one size fits all. You have to sit down with a client and actually see what their needs are and find the company that works for them. So I'm not talking about any particular company. I'm talking generalizations here to make sure that we're not, I'm not going into any details. But when I sit down with you, I'll actually do an assessment of your situation and find out which company, I can associate you with, and be your middle person. So whole life again, whole life goes up to age 100. You can build cash value in there. You can use it as a short-term revolving capital policy for people who are like business owners, real estate agents, people who need capital in like 30 to 90 days. So you could actually set up a policy depending on the company again. Set up a policy within 30 days, you're able to access your cash value or 90% of your cash value and pull some of that money out to use it for whatever it is you need. You can use it. It could be customized based on need. You could pay into it for 10 years. You could pay into it for 20 years, and you're still building cash on that policy. So whole life can be used for that. Whole life can also be used as a final expense policy for like elderly clients who just want a burial life insurance. That way, they just have coverage to take care of their final rights, so they're not putting a burden on their family. Because people don't, I mean, we've experienced a lot of GoFundMe's, charity situations where the community has to come together and put money together to bury someone or send them wherever their final resting place is. And it becomes a little burden on the community. But if everyone were to get even just a little final expense coverage, that would help you, and help your family, because you're gone, you don't care. But we should care. We really should, because I've heard people say that I don't care, I'm going to be gone, you can do what you want with my body. But I think we should be a little bit more responsible and do the bare minimum, do what you can, at least have something in place for your final rights. That way people are not running left and right trying to figure out how to take care of your remains, when that time comes. So whole life will take care of that. It will take care of the business owners, business people, and it can also take care of final expense. The last kind of life insurance that there is index universal life. So index universal life is also called an insurance-based retirement plan. You can use it for many reasons. You could use it for retirement planning. You could use it as an emergency fund. Business owners can use it to protect their businesses. You can use it for college planning for children. So you could actually set up a policy, design a policy for your kids as young as 15 days old. You could actually, design a policy for them. That way they can actually use this when they turn 18 or whatever age they're in college, and access that money during that period. If you don't want to take student loans for your child, which is probably the better way, because student loans will compound interest and you pay more than what you actually borrowed. But in this case, you would be borrowing from the kids policy or your own policy to pay the kids college. And if they decided that they didn't want to go to college, that money would still be available to them to use for whatever reason. If they chose that they wanted to be a business person or invest in something else, buy their first home, or just whatever it is, there's no restriction on it, because the company doesn't ask you what you're going to use that money for. So index universal life, it has a lot of advantages too. You again, it's there when you need the money, as depending on how you fund it. If you properly fund it, you have the money available to you as an emergency fund. Like I said, you could access it. It protects people from probate. So if you finally pass away and your family needs the money up front, they're not fighting with the probate court over the money. The money goes first to your family. So the question is, do you want 100% of what you set aside going to your family right away? Or do you want part of it or the leftovers going to them after all the creditors get paid? And if you want that, do you have it in writing? Do you have that information in writing? Also, the index universal life can be shielded. It can shield you from liability. So, like my background is a family nurse practitioner. If a patient chooses to sue me, and they go after my personal assets, the money that's in an index universal life or in a life insurance policy will not be affected. They will not be able to touch that money. So it has that cap on it, protection on it, so that nobody can access that. So that's, I mean, that's an advantage, because a lot of people, they get hit and all their personal assets get seized because of a little lawsuit or a big lawsuit that hits them. So that's another advantage. So there are a lot more advantages to it. Just the fact that you can use this as a tax-free retirement as well, because and tomorrow I believe we're going to be talking about tax advantages, and we'll touch on this a little bit more again tomorrow. But think about it, that a life insurance policy can actually give you a tax-free retirement, stress-free retirement, worry-free retirement. Because the biggest thing that people worry about is running out of money, and being hit by taxes that they don't even know what those taxes are going to be in the future. So if you've been sitting there, wondering why the big hype about life insurance, the big hype is because life insurance is a wealth building tool. It's not just there for you to die and someone else benefits from it. You can benefit from it right now while you're still here. And if you properly design it, you could be sleeping while your money is working for you in a life insurance policy. So don't be scared of life insurance. Don't be worried about life insurance. Don't feel like somebody is wishing you to die or wishing you death when they talk about life insurance. Let's take this month to really review our financial tools and make sure that we have adequate life insurance coverage, because most people don't. Most people have life insurance, but they don't have enough. And when I say you don't have enough, is because when you need it the most, you won't have as much as you need. And when you're younger, you want to get as much as you can because it's cheaper at that time. You're healthier. You don't have all these medical things that hit people later in their age, in their life. As they age, other medical things hit them, and that can prevent you from getting the kind of policy that you want. So let's really, really, really sit back and make sure that we are being more conscious about this month. There's a reason why the life insurance awareness is a whole month. Other holidays are just a day. President's Day, New Year's Day. What are the other holidays here? 4th of July, Labor Day. All of those are just one day. But the whole month of September is dedicated to life insurance awareness. That should tell you that how important it is, that it's a whole month to educate people on it. We should have it all year, but September is the month where we're actually resounding the alarm, re inviting people to listen to this conversation, to pay a little bit more attention to what we're saying about life insurance. So you'll hear a lot of it. You're going to see it on social media. See it in your inbox. You're going to get text messages. You get phone calls. You're going to get all of this, and from me too. So don't get don't get tired of it. Don't get annoyed. Just take action. All I'm asking is take some action. You don't have to get it from me. You can get it from someone else, but get some life insurance this month and get a lot of it, because there's not too much life insurance. You can get multiple policies as long as they're properly designed and they're designed to what your needs are. So let's take some action today. Do not hesitate. Don't procrastinate. And I'm trying not to procrastinate as well as an agent, because I've heard so many stories this week about people who, were planning to get better financially before they get some life insurance, and then calamity hit, or an agent who was planning to call someone and they didn't call that person, and then calamity hit and they regret it. I don't want to have that regret. I've had a few already, and I don't want to keep having that regret because I missed an opportunity to protect a family. This is not about the commission that I'm going to make. This is about the mission first, because the mission is to educate so many people on these concepts and to protect so many families. So the goal this September is to make sure that we protect every individual, every family that we come across, because everybody needs life insurance. You need it at different levels. You need it at different in different designs. But get life insurance. Get some kind of life insurance this month. All right. So until next time, thank you for watching, and thank you for sharing and liking and subscribing to the YouTube channel. You'll keep hearing my voice. I know I sound a little hoarse. I'm still getting over the cold. So, but the show must go on. We'll keep the education coming, keep these tips coming, just to keep you engaged and get in that subconscious so you can think about these things when you wake up from bed and when you go to bed. All right. Until next time, take care and Godspeed.